just kind of roll into this. And then if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to bring them up as they happen. You can also direct message me if you don't want to ask the whole world, basically. So we're doing some single leg deadlifts as our kind of main movement today. I understand that we have a variety of both skill levels and just weight options. As in, some people have weight options, some people don't. So I'll do my best to accommodate everybody. But in the future, if you think it's too easy, it's too hard, right, as in out of your scope, or it's too within your scope and you need more of a challenge, tell me. I'll try and add on without giving too many options. Apologies for the trash truck. That's what you're hearing. So we are going to start with 4 times through. Okay, 8 front-loaded good mornings. The front-loading element is just a weight. If front-loading isn't appropriate, maybe we're just doing good mornings. Followed by 16 alternating glute bridge marches. And then 6 per side plank crunches. So that, and we'll go over all of those things, but basically you have a hamstring, posterior chain warm up, little core piece, glute bridges, and then we have the side plank crunch, which is sort of a lateral core piece. The crunch itself is a bonus, so if it's side plank is all you can hold, side plank is fine. As far as deadlifts go, it's 5 times through, 6 per leg, either increasing weight if that's an option or appropriate, increasing range of motion, again, if it's appropriate, or staying as is if that's what you need for now. I know some of us are on a build, right, or kind of peaking for, doing Ironman California. This might just be maintenance. This could be single leg unloaded or very lightly weighted. For our final piece, it's 3 times through, 12 alternating lunge steps. That's total, not per side. 12 alternating V-ups. And then 8 push-ups with a rotation. I apologize, the lunges are lateral. I forgot to mention that. Let's just get some cat-cows. Just gentle movement, see how we're feeling. While I do that, I'm going to finish my coffee because I can't, but I'll join you shortly. Taking your time. As you hit 10, I know it's take however long it takes you to get through 10 of these. You'll move into bird dogs, right? So I don't feel like you have to wait for the group for that. Again, approximately 10. My counting is a bit questionable, so if you need to use your own, it's okay, trust your own counting. I appreciate that. Okay. I'm maxing here on the floor. So we can do the 90-90s. That's where we sit shoulder width apart, give or take. You can lean back, especially if you have tight hips. You can also sit upright depending on your flexibility. Shifting to one side. I release this glute. Some people don't. I don't love to sit down this way. It hurts my hip. I don't. But if you're flexible enough to do so and it's pain-free, you're welcome to. Otherwise, release this back glute and hamstring from the floor. So we're opening that hip, closing the bottom hip. I think I mentioned optional if you want to add to this, make it more active. You can keep the legs where they are and come into a lunge shape. So actually better on camera. So you're kind of at the end of this and you can kind of stay where you are, just going into like an open, kind of a weird shaped lunge. Not required, just more active. It's just an additional step to this progression, but that's a matter of taste. This is, if you want it more passive, we can just go side to side. That works just fine. Good. And then finally, let's just get some two-footed, good old-fashioned glute bridges, right? So laying on our back. Let's squeeze. Brace first. Lift the hips. And approximately 10 of these. And Maxine, if you want to come back to standing, you're welcome to pop up there. I know you're on the floor. Okay, let's go get some arm circles next. We can keep this short. I just want to get the upper body a little bit awake here. So kneeling or standing. I just want your arms to be able to swing around, basically. So if that's standing up, great. Kneeling for me works just fine. Starting small, gradually making them bigger. Good, keep those elbows straight, and in this case, thumbs pointed up. And let's go the opposite direction. So whichever direction you went, going the opposite. Good. Oh, it's a little Nike sometimes, but that's okay. Okay, let's go forward and back. Just kind of swing your arms. I'm not pushing too hard here, just letting my body tell me where to stop. Go across. And I'm pretty passive on this one. There you go. I'm doing about 10 per, but if it's a little short, okay, you can count your own. And then finally, let's go thumbs pointed down. Thumbs down. I find thumbs down forward to be easier than thumbs down backwards, which I'll do next. I tend to take a break only because this one gets harder, and that's okay. It also kind of moves into my neck when I'm tired, so especially this early in the morning. So you're gonna thumbs down. It's gonna be, you can start with the hands at 45 degrees if you need to give yourself a bit of a reprieve. Just gradually start. And it's okay if you're respecting one shoulder. So one side might make a much smaller circle than the other. Good. Okay, my friends. Let's go ahead and Maxine, you can do this off your workbench, or if you need to elevate this is actually for anybody. If you need to elevate this piece, that's fine. It's meant to be a warm-up. So if the push-up needs to be elevated and you have the ability to elevate your push-up, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and use my knees on the floor. I just want to plank into a down dog or plank into a tabletop if you're elevated. So 5 times. Okay, nice stretch. If you're doing the down dog, you're welcome to calf pump or the shoulders, or add onto that, right? So push-up, excuse me. I said plank, didn't I? I meant push-up. So that push-up can be either on the ground against something sturdy. I'm gonna use my knees, right? Lay down. Come back to my push-up or plank shape. Down dog is just either stretch. My hands are on tabletop or elevated position. I can go tabletop. Nice kind of hamstring, shoulder, calf, and repeat this 5 times. We can eliminate the push-up if that feels unnecessary. Taking your time with these 5 reps. The plank is more of an isometric hold, right? And the push-up is a little more active. I guess you can have to think of it that way. While I'm going to demonstrate the glute bridge marches and the side plank crunches in case we need to just clarify those, and then we'll roll right into this. So we have the glute bridge marches. Instead of just doing 2-footed, we're going to be, or even single-sided. You're going to keep your hips in the air. So my hips are going to stay here, and I'm going to march in place, right? 16 times, so 8 per leg, okay? Side plank crunch, I like to bend my bottom knee, so I don't like to stack my feet, but you can definitely have both feet here, and then the side plank crunches, you're reaching, crunch, right? So it's in addition to the leg lift. We leg lift last time, we're crunching this time. I tend to go here because it's easier for me to do, but whichever you prefer, okay? Let's start with, if you're lying down, start with the glute bridge marches or the side plank crunches. Maxine, you're standing, you could do good mornings instead, since you're already standing. Okay, just remember what station you started on, right? Everything is, well, I guess they're even numbers, they're not multiples of 8. So doing the marching steps, you're doing 16 total. Right? You can always go to single leg glute bridge or some variation of that. The good mornings can also be unloaded, by the way. Weight is not required. Doing 8 good mornings. I know, guys, if you're doing the side plank crunches, you're doing 6 per side. Right? And then, I guess in order, we have 8 good mornings, 16 marches, and 6 side plank crunches per direction. Good. Good. Consistently keeping that bottom hip nice and clear off the floor. Good. Good mornings. These can be, it's a hinge pattern, right? Chest is staying relatively high. We have some killer athletes here. So yeah, I personally, yeah. So let's RDL, right? So the good morning is all, it is a hinge pattern, but when we have a weight here, right? So unweighted, Joseph's doing it. Otherwise, my kettlebell, I like to just kind of hold it kind of here. Right. We think of our good morning kind of typically as hands behind the head, hips back. In this case, the front loading element, she's carrying a weight in front of you. Yeah, good. And personally, again, not a right or wrong. I like to have the kettlebell on, like the base of the kettlebell on my sternum, but frankly, it's a matter of taste. So we're warming up the hamstrings. Okay. Let's roll through this a total of 4 times. Nice work. Yeah, the height of your foot lift is not important. More about that opposite glute stays engaged and the hips stay high. Let's work with the side plank crunches. Bottom knee can be bent or straight too. I will say for anyone extra flexible, good mornings might not feel like much of a stretch, which is okay. Sometimes that stretch reflex sensation doesn't always happen. If you're doing it in a mirror, you want to make sure that you notice your chest, at least under more load, your chest is not moving independently of your hips, meaning you're not kind of forward folding, essentially. Maxine, you're so pastel all of a sudden. I love it. All of our stores are wearing autumnal dark colors.
Well, I was in black.
Right. I was like, but now you're all pastel. I like it.
I'm warmed up.
I am not. I think I mentioned there's a meme out there. There's many of them, of course, but it's a coach in a generic group class and they're wearing like a parka and boots and gloves, and then everyone's in t-shirts and shorts. Because as a coach, you don't move and you're like, you're constantly freezing. Which is not wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Particularly New England, when you're like, or anywhere it gets cold.
Oh.
Although it is officially wool sock season in my house.
Is it?
Yeah, I wear more wool socks in San Francisco than I ever did in Boston. Because houses here aren't, I mean, they're insulated to a point, but they're a bit drafty. So. Again, with the glute bridge marches, if these need to become 16 glute bridges, right, as in both feet down, or 8 per side or 16 per side, you can choose kind of a B stance or split stance glute bridge. Any of the variations of glute lifting can be used here. Nice work. Joseph, did you get new dumbbells, or is this just, you just haven't used it before?
I rotate between 3 of them.
Mm.
Also depends on what other people in my house do with my things.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
Convenient.
We're sharing equipment with a few
Correct.
other people. Beautiful. Making your way through your 4 rounds. I know it's a lot. I will say I'm gonna permission to move on, mostly in this case for Maxine, if you want to do some deadlifty things.
Oh, I
If
do.
you
I
want me
love
just
the
doing
deadlift.
4 rounds of these guys, that's fine too. I realize.
I'm in for the deadlifts.
Yeah. So Joseph and Trudy, you're welcome to keep rolling through this. I'm going to just talk through the deadlifts so Maxine could get some of her workout in her limited time frame. So you're going to be doing 6 per side. Either increasing range of motion, if that's a possibility, and or maybe increasing weight, if that's an option. When I say increasing range of motion, I do mean bending the knee, not reaching the shoulder. So just as a clarification, when I'm coming down, oops, can't see my shoulder, excuse me. So for example, right, I can't see my knees, but I'm not reaching my chest down. I'm bending my knee, right? In this case, I'm bending my knee, right?
Okay.
Not reaching or rotating touch the floor. So very increasing range of motion on your deadlift. Make sure it's from the knee bend on your standing leg, as opposed to you're rotating with the shoulder. Okay. If you're not sure, your shoulders should be even in the camera and there should be no dip, especially with kettlebells. They're tempting to touch the ground. Let's do 6 per side. single leg deadlifts. You're doing this 5 times through, resting either between legs or between sets. You may lift the back leg so that back leg can lift, right? I'm terrible with those. Or you can keep the foot down, right? The foot can stay on the ground, which you cannot see. You may rest if you just finish your 4 rounds for that warm up.
So I always want to know if I'm trying to lift heavier, is it better to put my foot down or to try to keep my foot up? Because I have really bad balance.
Good question. On it, the short answer is it depends. The long answer is personally, foot down for me every time.
Yeah.
If I'm lifting heavier, my foot's down, right? I can do, 40, 50 pounds foot down.
Okay.
But up, I'm like 20 is kind of I have to tap out because my balance is questionable. Right. Hips, and then go ahead and sit down. So once your hamstrings finish, Judy, yeah, there we go. So yeah, beautiful. And if your kettlebell touches, that's fine. It's just not the main point, right? The leg lift is good if people with yoga or dance backgrounds tend to prefer a leg lift. So I think that's a matter of taste, frankly. For me, it's definitely a foot down. Yeah, good. Good work. You, of course, can use 2 weights as well, right? So I realize I have just 1 kettlebell, but if you have 2 dumbbells, you can add a dumbbell. You want a soft knee bend on that front knee. Great work. And regardless of you using 1 or 2 weights, I want that weight next to your leg or your foot towards the bottom. So it shouldn't be near your toes, not right near the arch of your foot is a good sign. Using a dumbbell, the crossbar should be about the middle of your foot in terms of positioning, not depth. Again, most of your weight, if you're using both feet, assuming you're both on the ground, most of your weight should be on your front leg. Your back leg, just making sure that you don't topple over. Good. Good work. How's that weight feeling, Joseph? Does that feel okay?
Yeah, it's just enough.
Okay.
Especially for 1 leg.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like if you were in a position where you're like, hey, you have your, 50-pound kettlebell, or, you have larger weights available. We can, in fact, just deadlift with kettlebells. If you have access to barbells, you can deadlift with the barbell, and that could obviously be 2-footed, not single-sided. If you feel inclined to do so. Good. Good. Nice job. It's okay to rest between legs, or recognize if there's a side you struggle with more. I tend to start with that leg only to get it out of the way first, or where I'm least fatigued. That's kind of up to you. Nice job. Good. Was that 5 times, Joseph?
Oh,
Okay. All right.
yeah, 4 times. I heard 4.
Yeah, no, it's usually 4. I added.
I'll round it out.
Yeah, you're not crazy. It's usually 4. It is usually 4.
just taking a break.
No, I think it's great. Take a break. I'm a big fan.
All right, everyone, I'm gonna jump off. Have a good day.
All
Thanks.
right, bye,
Maxine, I
Maxine.
wish you a good day. Good. Yeah. Sure. That wobble on that knee is okay, as long as you feel like you're got problem solving. Your body's trying to figure out what to do.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
It's my weird foot.
Yeah, no, I think, but I think that if it's pain free and that little bit of wobbling around, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, your body's trying to figure out how to manage loads, right? Or being unstable.
It's
So
buffer.
as long as it doesn't hurt. I have a weird foot too. We all have a weird side. It happens. Okay, we're very efficient today. We also didn't do any sort of coffee talk because Maxine had 30 minutes. So we might actually end early, kind of right on time for Trudy, which is quite nice. We have a bit of core work and some lateral lunges. So the primary difference between a Cossack squat, right, which is kind of a lateral squat shape, and a lunge is that we're bringing the feet back together. So instead of, and we've done both of these, so just for some clarification, instead of having a wide stance and maintaining, right, a lateral squat shape, I know you can't see my hips, but they're going behind me, and alternating, I'm going to actually start my feet together, and I'm going to step out, right, lunge, quotations, come back, right, outside, lunge, come back. So my feet are coming back together as opposed to staying in a squat stance. Okay, so we're doing 12 of those total. Start with that first. And you can find your stance, as in the width that makes sense. Make sure the foot you're reaching with is planted before you start sitting into that shape. Good. If you need to stick with a Cossack squat where your feet are planted, it's less complicated or less painful. That's fine. Otherwise, regular lunges, backward, forwards, or goblet or squats here. 2 front squats work fine for substitutions. Good. So you're doing 12 total there. After this, we're going to do a ab piece. We're going to come to the ground. 12 again, alternating V-ups or tuck-ups, or these can be 12 V-ups, right? So a V-up in its full variation is where I'm laying down and I'm going to hopefully touch my toes. I forget these, right? Like that. Now that's both feet. Alternating is going to be opposite, right? So I keep my opposite hand on the ground, foot on the ground. So that is my shoulders coming off the ground. If that's too much, maybe we're going for heel touch. If that's too heady, we can do dead bugs, okay? But I want 12 of something. So 12 V-ups, 12 alternating V-ups, alternating tuck-ups, whatever you can do, okay? My ex-gymnasts will be fine on the V-ups, I'm sure. Nice job. Even 12 sit-ups, if that suits you. Good. Once you have your 12 alternating V-ups, tuck-ups, sit-ups, some variation there. You're doing 8 push-ups with a nice big open rotation. Don't fall over the rotation, of course. But just opening up, increasing time under tension and opening up the body. So whether your push-up is from a bent knee position or elevated, so it's going to be push-up, right? The rotation, well, side plank, back down, and then repeat on the other side. 8 total. Again, you can use your knees, elevate your hands. as necessary. Okay, your chest all the way down to the ground. You can alternate directions. When you're rotating, I want your hands stacked over each other. You shouldn't rotate past your balance point. Once you have your 8 reps, we'll just go right back to those lateral lunges at your own pace. Okay. So you're doing this 3 rounds total. That was 1 together. The remaining 2 can be done on your lunges. You have a few options, whether you lead with the hip. So when you sit down, or right, or leading with your hip moving backwards first, or the knee moving forwards first. Subtle differences. The knee forward first is a little quad heavy. Okay. Quad and lateral leg. The hip back first, or more hip emphasis, is a little more glute hamstring. You'll still work both. It's just a matter of what's feeling good. If you have knee pain, sit back, generally. But you can be somewhere in the middle of your foot there. There you go. Nice work. And you can adjust these as your fatigue kicks in, right? Or just rest within your 12 reps. That's fine. Nice job. The hips and the glutes have done a lot of work today, so this fatigue kicking in on the lateral lunges is okay. Good. If you're doing a full V-up, the low back can round as long as you're braced. That's fair game. That's kind of the only way most people can reach their toes in a V-up. Here we go. All right, your final set of push-ups with rotation. Nice job with the, yep. Good. I think that's a record, by the way. 640. Just saying. If you're like 10 minutes of talking. I do have a question for you, Joseph, and from a
Yes.
yoga perspective. So I recognized when I train people who have a yoga background and they do glute bridges, they do this thing. they do like this. Is there a reason, I mean, specifically for yoga, is there a reason for that distance?
You mean hands on the ground or where? What are
That
you
measurement.
putting?
So like if they're doing a glute bridge, they'll do this. They'll kind of like touch their heel and then go and do one.
I usually tell people when you plant your feet about hip distance apart.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Everyone knows hip distance or shoulder distance is.
Yeah.
And then if you get narrow or wide, depending on
Yeah.
kind of what your balance is like, but hip distance is it's right in the middle.
Yeah. But I meant like this, the heel away from the butt.
It's also, I find that that's the nice balance point between like way too close or way too far.
Yeah, interesting. Because I find a lot of people do that, and I'm like, in a strength setting, I'm like, that's actually for a lot of people too close. Like everyone's really tight in yoga, which is why they go to yoga. But if you're tight, this is just again, I was like, this for me is too close. My hips are too tight for this. I need to be. In order to get to here, I have to be like a half foot out. I was just curious because I feel like there's usually, it's just a measurement, right? It's a guideline.
That's what I was about to add. It's that everyone can find that point for themselves, and it's never, because some people are like, is it 6 inches? Is it 7 inches? And you're like, tip of your hand. And you can never mess that up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good starting point. I agree. And then you go, hey, take a step away from that point or get closer from that point or
Adjust as needed is what I say.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. I was just curious if there was like a specific reasons. I recognize that pattern on like 6 people. And I'm like, what are you measuring? What are we measuring? What are we doing? I'm curious. So, and they're like, oh, my yoga teacher says. I was like, oh, just curious. My friends, good work today. Thank you for answering, Joseph. Appreciate that. Genuinely, I know a very efficient session. I hope that felt good. Again, your butt will be sore, as you might imagine. If you can go for a walk, that'd be great. I know it might rain today, so the best you can. I'm not sure what it's doing in Colorado, but
Not ranked, but cool. It's like 35.
oh, brisk.
I know. Yes.
We call it a fall morning in New England,
Yes.
which actually after summer feels quite nice, personally. But
Yes. All right.
enjoy
Thank
your
you.
day, my friends.
Alrighty, thank you. See
You're
ya.
welcome. Bye.
Oh, that was hard. Yeah. Okay.